Hey, what's going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the Thursday Night Football Showdown between the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. And we finally have a good matchup here for Thursday Night Football. We also have a millionaire maker up top, so should be a good game, should be high scoring. Two good teams. I am super excited to watch this game as well as to play the Showdown slate. If you guys are unable to watch these YouTube videos, they're also uploaded on Apple Podcasts. Link down below. It is called the DK DFS Show. And if you're interested in signing up for premium content, I have for a few different packages on patreon.com. More info down below. The sponsor of this video is PrizePicks. PrizePicks, if you're not familiar, guys, is a player prop site where you can pick 2 to 5 players and win up to 10x your money. So you're basically taking over/under on either fantasy points or over/under on straight up passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, receptions, pass completions, interceptions. You can also mix and match sports. So if you guys want to try out PrizePicks, make sure to sign up and use my code DKDFS. It is DKDFS, all one word. You get 100% match up to $100. So if you deposit using my code $100, it's a free $100 to play with on the site. And finally, I want to thank you guys again for all of your support, whether it be the NBA videos, the NFL videos, the live streams. Just make sure if you do enjoy the YouTube content to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do know when I upload and go live. All right, guys. So let's talk about this Thursday night football game. Let's first take a look at the Vegas odds here. This is a 52 over/under, and the Kansas City Chiefs are currently 3-point favorites. So first, what I want to do is take a look at snap counts from both these teams in their most recent games. So Kansas City, one thing I want to mention is it was a massive blowout. So like the fourth quarter, the starters really didn't play. So you're not going to see the normal snaps really, because you're going to see some of these kind of the end of the bench guys getting more run here. So for example, like Derek Gore usually just been getting DNPs. He played about a third of the game. I think in a competitive game, it's going to be a pretty even split with CEH and Darrell Williams, but they've been utilizing CEH a lot more when he's been on the field. At wide receivers, so Tyreek Hill and Byron Pringle played the most. They're still the top two on the depth chart. Robinson played 45% of the snaps. Hardman played 35%. Josh Gordon in the COVID protocol, so he is out for this game. So I do think that's going to give a slight bump to those secondary receivers and guys like Hardman, Robinson, and Pringle. And at tight end, again, Travis Kelce going to play a majority of the game. Noah Gray, Blake Bell, nothing more than dart throws in the Showdown slate. So starting with the Kansas City Chiefs side, Patrick Mahomes at 12K. I think makes her a pretty safe play. Now, I think I slightly prefer the price on Justin Herbert than I do Patrick Mahomes. But again, this Chiefs offense has been a little bit up and down, but we know the upside is massive on this. When they're clicking on all cylinders, and again, it's a 50+ total over/under. So I think he's a very safe play. Definitely someone you want to consider for cash games. Now, can you make the argument to fade Mahomes in tournaments? Of course. I don't think he's a must in tournaments, but definitely a safer play in the board. Now with Hill and Kelce, Hill's always the guy I lean to in tournaments because I think the upside's just a little bit higher on him. Last couple weeks have been disappointing for Tyreek Hill, but I'm not super concerned about it. And then Travis Kelce, more of your cash game play. The price has dropped in him a lot to 8.6K. I like the price and that a good amount. Last game, not super concerned about it. Previous 4 games, 8, 8, 10, and 8 targets. So like the price here, good amount here for Kelce. I think he is going to be popular, but for good reason. Now, as I mentioned, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's kind of been splitting the touches or splitting the snaps with Darrell Williams, but he's been getting more touches when he's out there. At this price point, I think he's a fine contrarian play. I don't know if I'm going to go prioritize CEH in kind of a split backfield, but he's been productive when he's been on the field. Now, McCole Hardman at 5K feels a little bit too pricey. Again, the snaps have been way down on him. I do think they tick up a little bit here with Josh Gordon out for this one, but I think at that price point, it's just nothing more. The only reason you'd go there, in my opinion, is for ownership, or you just hope he breaks a long one. Now, the Chiefs' defense of 4-4 in a high total game like this, I'm probably not going to get to either defense. Buckner, again, the kickers are always fine. And he's gone for double-digit fantasy points now in 3 of the last 4 games. I mentioned Darrell Williams kind of splitting these snaps with CEH, but CEH getting a lot more touches. Now, Williams is also coming in at a way cheaper price point, so I think he's a relatively safe value, assuming we're still going to get a pretty even 50-50 split there with the 2 Chiefs backs. Byron Pringle has been playing the second most amount of snaps. Now, it hasn't really turned into much production, but if he's going to continue to play the second most amount of snaps, I think he's a good value here. He's a guy that does have some big play upside, and he's really, really cheap. And there's a lot of good stars in the slate, so we're going to have to get to some value. I think Byron Pringle definitely someone we can consider. Demarcus Robinson at 1.8, not as much upside, more out there for blocking purposes, but he's also very, very cheap and should get a decent amount of run in this game. Again, Josh Gordon is on the COVID list, so he is out for this one. So expect just those top 4 wide receivers to play. I don't really think they're going to utilize anyone else. I mentioned Derek Gore. He got some touches last game because it was a blowout. I really don't expect him to play much, if at all, in this game. And then Gray and Bell are the backup tight ends. They're viable dart throws, but really, it's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce in this game. Okay, so now let's talk about the LA Chargers side. And first, let's take a look at snap counts for them last week. So Chargers, Eckler got a little bit banged up, but looks like he's going to be good to go for this game. Obviously, that's something that we'll monitor for sure, but he's leaning on the probable side right now. Jackson, Kelly got mixed in a bit, but I think in a game, especially a game of this magnitude, that Eckler is going to play a majority game if he can. Now, wide receiver last game, Keenan Allen was out. So they utilized Palmer as the number 2 wide receiver. Him and Mike Williams both played 80+% of the snaps, while Gayton played about half the game. And at tight end, you had Cook, you had Parm, played just under half the game each. Anderson, McKitty got in there as well. They utilized more tight ends, I think, because Keenan Allen was out. Okay, so on the Chargers side, I mentioned, I prefer the price on Justin Herbert to Patrick Mahomes. He's, $1,200 cheaper. He has rushing upside. He had similar ceiling, in my opinion. So I do like Justin Herbert a good amount here. Again, I am super excited to watch this game. Now, Eckler, monitor the situation, but all indications is he will be good to go. And the positive with Austin Eckler, as I always mention, is he's basically a wide receiver and a running back. He's going to get a ton of targets here. And if this game turns into a shootout, you could see a big game from Eckler. 4 games ago, he went for 40 fantasy points. So the upside is there with him. And I think he provides that floor because of his PPR ability, right? His ability to catch those dump-off passes. Now, Keenan Allen is back after missing last week. And what I always say about Keenan Allen, it's just a broken record, but it's just the targets, right? He's getting double-digit targets every single week in a super high total game. I think he's a very, very safe play with upside. Mike Williams, a little bit of a riskier option, a little bit of a lower floor to Keenan Allen. Now, does have a similar ceiling, but the targets aren't there with him. He's more running those deeper routes. So Mike Williams, more of your boom or bust type play there with the top 2 wide receivers. Jared Cook at 5'4", kind of just indifferent on him. I think we probably get 4 to 5 targets. He's a guy that can look to in the red zone. He's got 2 touchdowns now in the last 3 weeks. Guyton at 4.8 feels a little bit too pricey, especially with Keenan Allen back. Expect him. He is listed as number 4. You can take a look at the depth chart, but he is actually number 4 now on the depth chart. Joshua Palmer has passed him, and Palmer is cheaper. So I think if I'm going to go to one of the secondary wide receivers for the Chargers, would rather go to a guy like Palmer. Again, kickers, both firmly in play on the Showdown slates. They always seem to go a little bit under-owned. The Chargers defense at 3K, I don't know if I get to either defense in a game where it should be a shootout. Keyword should be. Donald Parham at 2.4K, again, XFL legend. He's been getting a decent amount of targets, 5, 1, 4, and 2 targets the last 4 weeks. He's a guy that can look to in the red zone as well, and is super, super cheap, so I think he's a decent GPP value option. I mentioned Palmer. I would rather go to him than Guyton. I think he gets more snaps than Guyton, is also a couple $1,000s cheaper. So if I'm going to take a shot on one of the secondary receivers, again, it would be Palmer. Justin Jackson is the number 2 back here for the Chargers. Expect probably somewhere around 5 to 6 touches from him, which makes him playable in the Showdown slate. But I think at a similar price point, if I'm going to go to backup running back, I think I would rather go to Darrell Williams. And then Kelly's the number 3 back. I would rather go to Jackson over Kelly. And then, the basically third string tight end, more out there for blocking purposes, Steven Anderson. You can use him as a dart throw. And yeah, that's really it. McKitty, again, they utilized a lot of tight ends last game, but I don't think I'm going to go to these 4-string tight ends on the Chargers. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for the video today. If you have been enjoying the football content, make sure just to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do know when I upload and go live. But thanks again, guys. Really appreciate all of your support, and I will see you in the next video.